shortage of good signs when a company's really going south. And at that point, the best thing to hope for is that it goes out quickly so you can write the loss off on your taxes that year.
You actually have milestones when you sort of plans, right? Whether it's an angel investor or right. So you will sit down with them and say this is a milestone to meet at this point in time, and if you don't meet, there must be some reason. If it's funny reason, then you know that it's not about that.
So I think most of them would like to know this also. But starting with a company fresh, how do everybody think about 2 or 3 or 4 different partners? What is the right size by your experience? Because that is a very difficult thing. Because chemistry is necessary.
Yeah, and I did it with 2, and 2 could have worked out if either one of us was smart enough to understand how to structure the company from the beginning, or if we had gone out and raised some angel funding. Even raising a tiny bit of angel funding forces you to sort out all your paperwork, how stock gets bought and sold, and how it gets valued, and what happens if somebody leaves. None of those things got sorted out for us. I do think the number of 2 can work quite well. Even 3, I think, maybe even a little better because you could have a natural tiebreaker there. Once it gets beyond that, there's no one real strong owner, no one strong personality. I heard a friend of mine told me this, a very successful investor told me this recently. It sounds plausible. The most successful companies are the ones that still have one huge shareholder who really does control the place, okay, and is not answerable to anybody, and drives the place forward, even if it's public. You look at something, Oracle, Larry Ellison. You look at the Microsoft, at Bill Gates. You look at a lot of these, Las Vegas Sands, the casino right here. You get Sheldon Adelson. So many of these come Warren Buffett. You have so many of these companies that the most successful ones appear to be ones where you have one really, really strong investor that has a very large controlling interest stake and really can order people around and roughhouse people and tell investors to go to hell if he needs to. Much better than having a hired gun, much better than having a diffuse committee of people who need to get consensus and everything. I heard that and I listened to it and I thought to myself, yeah, he's kind of right. You run through all the really successful companies, there was one guy, or 2 guys at most, who really ran the show and didn't need to ask permission for anything from anybody, even after they went public.
I will give you another perspective. I think in my case, we started off with 2, which is my chairman and myself, as the 2 founders, so-called shareholders. But we find that I'm like CEO, I run and develop product. He's the doctor, he provides the domain knowledge. But we find that it's lacking, so what we did was we bring in more shareholders, minor percentage, but they are like independent director on stock exchange, so we know obviously where we're heading. We bring in former retired bankers, so we know how to raise money. So we want to solve the money raising part. We have the operational part, and we have the domain knowledge. So it's like MBA style, right? You put all the right people in, but we put emphasis on the executive, so that the executive, and my chairman is almost executive, except that he is a practicing doctor. So we put them together and make sure that both of us has the majority share. As long as we don't break, we are okay. We can go anywhere we want. But the rest are providing very good inputs. And that's the only reason, not the reason, I think day one we start a company, we just call on the shareholders and how much will we start? 2 million, okay, start. And up to now we don't have any VC investment. We don't believe in VC because they always give us a time frame. By this time you must IPO. We focus on running the business.
I think we're right on time.
Okay.
Are there any one final question? Yeah.
Where entrepreneurs are moving from the US?
Where are they
Because
moving?
taxes are rising, government spend a lot, they have to put more taxes on the companies, so basically they are moving out, everybody. What are the business implications and what is the look of the Asia Pacific from this point of view of the American business?
Another great question. I'm certainly not moving out of the United States, but like we're actually sending a lot of our contract work now to Singapore, to our parent company, because they're cheaper. Sometimes to China, to another subsidiary that Estes owns. Whether I would uproot a company and start it in another country because the climate for investors and entrepreneurship is better, I don't see that. I don't see many entrepreneurs saying, I want to get out of the United States because the overall climate for entrepreneurship and starting companies is becoming bad. Operationally, cost of operations, outsourcing, offshoring, yes, work is being farmed out elsewhere. But I have to run through all of my CEO friends and entrepreneur friends who started multiple companies, my venture capital friends who are funding multiple companies. I can't think of a single person who said, I'm out of here. I can't start and run my business here. I gotta leave. Not a one. Just empirical data from me.
Thank you. Well, this concludes part one of Warren Katz's presentation.